You revealed you had been evicted and homeless before. This was your competitive edge. While others were fighting for a luxury they wanted, you were fighting for a security you needed. Psychologically, you were already conditioned for hardship. The mansion's floors were softer than the streets you had already conquered.
7 bedrooms, a cinema, a gym. You thought these were rewards. In reality, they were environmental stressors. High-end luxury creates a paradox. The more you have, the more you fear losing it. Your brain started loss aversion processing. Jimmy drew a simple red line at the door. Psychologically, this is spatial anchoring. That line became the center of your universe. Every decision you made was filtered through the fear of that 1-inch boundary. You were chosen because you called the challenge easy. This is Dunning-Kruger Effect in action. You used devaluation as a defense mechanism, calling previous contestants soft to feel superior before the test began.
When you stole the remotes, you were asserting resource control. You weren't just looking for a channel, you were establishing yourself as the alpha. In a closed environment, information and entertainment are the most valuable currencies. Hoarding the remotes meant controlling the group's only source of dopamine. By the second morning, your civility vanished. You started kicking down doors and trashing the place. This is social disintegration. Without distractions, your brain reverted to its basic aggressive state. The mansion was a cage you wanted to break. You poured ranch on the carpet to make it smell, engaging in olfactory warfare. You were trying to make the environment hostile. Disgust is one of the strongest emotions used to mark territory and repel rivals. Your competitors' brains would scream to leave.
You threw mattresses off the balcony. This behavior is self-sabotage. By destroying the house you wanted to win, you were psychologically lowering the stakes. It's a defense mechanism against the fear of failure. The first contestant quit on day 1. This is the reality shock. His online persona, the tough critic, couldn't survive actual discomfort. His ideal self was crushed by his actual self, leading to a rapid exit to avoid further psychological pain. You traded $1 million house for 30 nuggets. This is impulse control failure. Stress bypassed logic for instant gratification. You valued a $10 dopamine hit right now over a $1 million asset later.
You quit because you missed your cat, despite mocking others for doing the same. This is cognitive dissonance. To resolve the internal conflict between your words and your actions, you had to abandon your hater identity entirely. Being chained to a partner forced socialization. Suddenly, your survival was linked to another human's physical needs. This creates a shared fate psychology. You had to negotiate every movement, which either built an unbreakable bond or deep resentment. Quelly stayed strong because he wasn't doing it for himself. He was doing it for his dad. This is a transpersonal goal. When your motivation is external, you can endure significantly more pain than those motivated by selfish pride. Asher's constant "this is my house" talk was a narcissistic defense mechanism. He tried to bulletproof his mind against doubt. However, this alienation made him a target for the group, proving that antisocial behavior is a high-risk strategy in social survival. When Uthi smashed the TVs, he performed a psychological siege. He removed the escape route. Without the digital distraction, you were forced to face the silence and your own thoughts, triggering sensory deprivation anxiety. One contestant stepped over the line by accident. This is attentional fatigue. A single second of mind-wandering cost him $1 million, proving the greatest enemy is automated behavior without focus.
Pierce traded a lifelong memory for a financial asset. This created emotional resilience that makes quitting almost impossible. The bunker challenge was classical conditioning. Your brain linked the alarm sound to total loss, triggering cortisol spikes. This kept you in a state of hypervigilance even during sleep. You no longer lived in a mansion. You lived in a threat zone. When the timer dropped to 30 seconds, your world narrowed. This is time pressure anxiety. Your brain's ability to think long-term was disabled. Only the distance to the scanner mattered. Asher hiding the food was primitive aggression. He used the most basic survival instinct against you. This backfired because it forced the rest of the group to cooperate for survival, turning him into the common enemy. Locked in a small room with only rice and beef, this was stimulus starvation. Without mental input, the brain begins to atrophy. You felt temporal distortion. Minutes felt like hours. Ryan counting to 100,000 was voluntary cognitive load. He created his own structure to escape the void of isolation. By focusing on a massive, repetitive task, he achieved a state of flow that protected his mind from crushing weight of boredom and loneliness. Ryan started seeing numbers in the air. This is isolation-induced hallucination. His brain began projecting his internal thoughts into his visual field. Jimmy gave 100,000 pennies as a prize. This was ironic reinforcement. While it was a reward, the labor required to clean it up made it feel like a punishment. It tested your ability to maintain gratitude under physical annoyance, the ultimate test of a positive mindset. The phone became a variable ratio reinforcement tool. The outcome was unpredictable, creating intermittent anxiety. This mechanism mirrors gambling, where uncertainty keeps the brain hyper-focused and leads to learned helplessness when things go wrong. Majd spent 24 hours in a tub. This was environmental confinement. It leads to sensory monotony, a mild psychological torture. This confinement forces the subject to face their internal narrative without distraction, often leading to profound self-reflection or mental exhaustion. Asher's selflessness for Quelly's $10,000 was altruistic signaling. He aimed to lower the group's aggression towards him, ensuring his social survival. Quelly swapping places was reciprocal altruism, strengthening their
Repetitive music at high volumes prevents the brain from entering a resting state, causing cognitive fatigue. You were ready to quit for silence as your brain was experiencing an information crisis. You let the $50,000 call go unanswered due to trauma-induced risk aversion. You associated the phone with pain rather than reward, feeling broken by the challenge. Uffy's eviction and homelessness provided him with adversity hardening, making challenges feel minor. The architect of your suffering changed the power dynamics, testing your ego integrity.
This triggered a mental conflict between the certainty of 100K and the possibility of 1 million. Those who took the money showed pragmatic realism, while those who stayed showed risk-taking resilience. You literally sat on Jimmy's hand to keep him in the game. This is strategic cooperation. Your presence kept the $100,000 offers alive, highlighting how greed can instigate protective behavior. Standing with your hand on a wall for 24 hours leads to cognitive deceleration. You were just fighting the biological drive to close your eyes and let go. Asher jammed his hand in the window to sleep, showing strategic hubris. Psychologically, this over-reliance on a trick made him mentally vulnerable.
The mansion became silent. From 15 people down to 2, Uthi and Asher faced an internal battle with only the pain of their own bodies and the silence around them. After 119 days, Asher's hand came off the wall. Muscle failure met mental lapse as the mind lost control over the nerves. Uthi collapsed in tears, experiencing emotional catharsis, a release of 119 days of stress and fear, flooded by endorphins. You started by calling it easy and ended by signing the deed with trembling hands. This is personality evolution. The challenge didn't just
Subscribe for more trashy content.
To be continued.